I don't think people recognize just how important cholesterol is for testosterone synthesis and therefore erections and libido. Like if you actually analyze steroidogenesis, if you look at the top of the chain coming into this cell right here, you know, you've got the conversion to pregnenolone and then 17-alpha hydroxypregnenolone, progesterone, all these other ones, and then testosterone. But like, look at the top. Let's just have a gander. This is at the top, okay? This is the necessary building block. You absolutely 100% require cholesterol in order for steroidogenesis to happen and thus for you to synthesize all of your sex hormones, including testosterone. And if you pay any attention to the carnivore diet, there are thread after thread after thread after thread about, you know, morning woods are back, libido's through the roof, pleasing the wife, having sex 5 times a week and all that stuff. So I'm going to break down exactly why this is happening, what I think of the carnivore diet, and some other good stuff I think you're going to want to hear. First though, bros, I wouldn't be here for many years now able to create high quality content without the support of our company and our products. Just launched Supercharged Dopamine, Nootropics Mastery. These are quick, efficient, but highly information dense courses. Probably the woolly mammoth of specials right now is Torque Nootropic Stack being buy one, get one free. Okay. You buy one, you get another bottle for free for the price of one. All day mental energy, hardcore potent stimulant, very powerful for motivation. I mean, this stuff will light your brain up. Code is TorqueBogo and the link is in the description of this video. So the carnivore diet. Yeah, it's just another iteration of keto, which was a somewhat, you know, evolved iteration of Atkins. I mean, that's all these diets essentially are. It is the effective removal of carbohydrates from the diet to a significant extent, and the consumption of largely beef, chicken, pork, lamb, turkey, organ meat, salmon, sardines, white fish, and small amounts of heavy cream and hard cheese. Now I'm going to get into whether or not I think, you know, people should eat exclusively meat and not really eat carbs here in a bit. But the really interesting thing about carnivore, if you talk to people who are on it or you read the forums of people that have been on carnivore, is that the men end up enthusiastically posting about their boners and better libido. Just like morning wood has come back, libido is back. You know, they feel young again in the sexual department. And, you know, here's a post. The story of a light breeze. The guy goes, what is this diet? Better than any blue pill. I'm a 42-year-old male, and for the first time in 20 years, I'm getting erections like I'm 15 again. My partner, who was a total fiend and never used to get enough, is now pleading for mercy at night. I'm not ejaculating multiple times a night like when I was 24, but I can stay hard the entire night without even caring or thinking about it. Her butt even brushes my jaw. This guy went a little graphic. This guy, men, how has carnivore affected your libido and erectile function? Guys in the comments, like being in my 20s again, it most certainly helps. This guy, I'm 43 and I'm always ready to go. My libido will tell me when I'm not eating enough fat. Higher libido, stronger erections, morning wood. Now, devil's advocate, this guy, 19 months in, no difference. We're going to get to why that's happening. Another one, absolutely bricked up. As you can imagine what that means, when I was only eating meat, water, salt. Highly recommend. Behind the bottom, I wake up with an erection rivaling my teenage years. Okay, so what the hell is happening here? Why'd you guys go on carnivore and end up like having mega boners, completely revitalizing morning erections, nocturnal erections, libido, the zest for sex, and, you know, random erections? Just like the whole sexual system just gets revitalized to when they were younger. The short answer to that question is increased steroidogenesis, therefore increased testosterone and ancillary hormones from cholesterol. So check this out. Okay, and this is why cholesterol is so critically important for libido and erections, specifically for testosterone, but all of the other, you know, hormones too, all your other sex hormones. You got cholesterol coming in, okay? Without cholesterol, you do not, you know, as a result of cholesterol side chain cleavage enzyme, make pregnenolone. You're just not going to make it, or you're not going to make it in adequate quantities. Now, your pregnenolone via 3-beta-hydroxy steroid dehydrogenase converts to progesterone. 17-alpha hydroxylase converts that to 17-alpha hydroxy progesterone. That gets converted down to androstenedione. And then from there, androstenedione actually converts to a lot of things. You've got the conversion directly to testosterone right here. You've got 5-alpha reductase, an enzyme that converts your test to DHT or dihydrotestosterone. Then you've got aromatase, which is going to convert some of that testosterone to estradiol or estrogen. But I mean, if you go all the way back to the top, cholesterol, pregnenolone, 17-alpha hydroxypregnenolone. But in addition to becoming progesterone and then ultimately androstenedione and testosterone, you've got dehydroepiandrosterone, otherwise known as DHEA. DHEA is right here. Now, the progesterone, which ultimately comes from the pregnenolone, which comes from the cholesterol, goes through more conversion process to ultimately become mineral corticoids, corticosteroids, and ultimately cortisol. But here's the major point. None of this would be possible without this right here, okay? Cholesterol right up here. None of this is possible. So here's how this may be useful. If your testosterone levels are adequate, meaning, frankly, above 700 nanograms per deciliter, you're not taking any pharmaceutical drug that's interrupting libido and erection quality via like making you make more prolactin like the serotonergic drugs will do, and you still don't have rocking erections and libido, like you don't feel like you're a young kid who just wants to smash everything that he sees. You have endless beer goggles. You just have beer goggles even when you're not drinking beer. When your libido is high, believe me, you will fuck anything. Even if you're on TRT and HCG, which helps the testicles remain functional, and you're still not having libido considering your protocol is dialed in, or at least it looks like it's dialed in on paper, the missing link is probably cholesterol. Let me just give you an anecdotal. I do everything right, like, testosterone wise. I'm on TRT and HCG. My estradiol's always managed. I sleep well. I train. I lift heavy things. I'm a healthy 40-year-old man. But even considering that, sometimes my libido can go off the rails. And unless I drank a lot of alcohol or raised prolactin or did something else, it's always cholesterol. So what is the solution? Frankly, Mark Wahlberg's burgers. The Wahlburger. Honestly, it's actually one of the best burgers like I've ever had in my life. I just, make up a burger. Usually over the course of 2 or 3 days, I eat 2 to 3 burgers. And then again, try to remember maintenance in bringing beef 2-3 times a week into the regimen. And then suddenly, I'm a walking boner again. So that is the answer to why men on carnivore experience significant libido and erections. But let's talk about, as you remember before, the guy who said, yeah, it actually got worse. There are people who said either no change or got worse, like libido and erections got worse 4 weeks in or 2 months into carnivore. Well, why is that happening if cholesterol is all we need from this to get the testosterone? The reason is because without carbohydrates, you're going to skyrocket cortisol, and cortisol is technically and chemically at odds with testosterone. The higher the cortisol, the lower the testosterone. So, you could be getting all of the cholesterol you want, but if you're not eating carbohydrates and you're not sated and you don't have proper neurotransmitter balance, and importantly, cortisol shooting through the roof, which is certainly going to if you're not eating carbohydrates, well then, my friend, you have a bottleneck preventing you from making adequate testosterone because you've literally got cortisol working against your own testosterone. Look, I have been through this before, and I don't want to make this about, whether or not I think keto or carnivore Atkins is good, but generally speaking, the human body runs much better in terms of a primary fuel source on glucose. Yes, I have been fat adapted before. Yes, I know what it feels like. And yes, I did it longer than you and longer than people that that have blogs, that have businesses behind it that want to convince you to eat all fat and no carbs. I'm also the guy that looks into the scientific research and tries to look at both sides of things. And whether it's women losing their periods, guys having autoimmune issues, men and women having thyroid issues, men and women having sex hormone problems, men and women having mineral corticoid issues. This is why you ultimately have to consume a ton of salt when you're, consuming these diets, and massively disrupting microflora, gut bacteria, via not feeding them carbohydrates that they need to survive and keep your microbiome in check. I'm not sure why the keto guys and the carnivore guys don't talk about this. Generally, eating carnivore, Atkins, keto without carb refeeds is not a good idea. Physiologically, it's actually stupid, and you don't want to do that. Now, that doesn't mean that eating carnivore, keto, or Atkins, we'll just call it carnivore for now, isn't great so long as you have carb refeeds. Okay? So twice a week, eat your carbs, dude. Get it in so that you can still continue to digest them, and your gut doesn't freak out in the future if you have carbs. That's why this happens to people. Get it in so that you can keep, the cortisol testosterone balance in a good place to where cortisol isn't maxed and inhibiting your testosterone. Get the carbs in to reset some of the satiety hormones to keep your microbiome in check. If you eat, predominantly carnivore, I really see nothing wrong with that, but get the carb refeeds in, and therein lies why some people on carnivore, lose erections and libido when you would think that it should be supercharged all the time. You've got to have both, my friends. But okay, so I just wanted to make that side point. But like, if you are a guy that's on TRT and HCG, so you're keeping your testicles functional, which I highly suggest you do, and you can't figure out how to dial in the protocol, everything looks good on paper, but still no libido, you need the cholesterol, man. For that internal steroidogenesis and that testosterone synthesis intratesticularly, you're going to need cholesterol. Like, again, this whole process here does not happen without cholesterol. And for the average guy, for the guy that's not on TRT, I should say, that's trying to make more testosterone and maximize it, you got to do everything else right. But at the same time, you've got to get the cholesterol in, guys. I just want you to think about, if you're having libido and erection issues and testosterone's in an okay place, but it could be higher if you're natural, or it's in a great place and the numbers look good if you're on TRT or HRT, especially HCG, right? Because the testicles have to be functional for this. Just think about this graphic, okay? All this isn't possible, which ultimately comes down to not just testosterone, but every single one of these hormones before we get to the mineralocorticoids are important for your libido and erections. All of this stuff here is not just majorly influenced by, not just somewhat influenced by, highly dependent on this molecule right here, cholesterol. And that is why the carnivore guys, most of them at least, are getting rockin' libido and erections. So what's the major takeaway? Eat beef, eat red meat, make sure it's in your diet, but also eat carbs, eat vegetables. You got to have a mix of everything. And guys that are on TRT, HCG, your libido and erections are going to be much better. And guys that aren't, your testosterone levels and thus the hormone balance, all of this stuff here is going to be much better. And so will libido and erections. As I said in the beginning, biggest special of the year, buy one, get one free on the Torque Nootropics stack. Most people spend $5.50, this is the average, $5.50 a day on their latte, coffee, whatever they get from Starbucks or whatever. Over a month, that's like 160 something bucks. Like, whatever that math is, it is very significant. Instead, why not just get daily use $29.99 a month for Torque? Literal no-brainer. And just, get a black coffee, have some cream and sugar, or continue your coffee, whatever. That's the daily use argument. But right now, singular purchases are buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. Code for that is TorqueBOGO. Do it in the description of this video or at livecortex.com. I hope I've convinced you. And either way, if you love our content, support us and buy a bottle. Hope you're having a great day. Let's go. We're starting the week. Hope you have a great week. I'll be here with you pumping out content. And I'll talk to you in the next one.